We've been asking ourselves the age old question: why is Nigerian music, why is Tanzanian music, why is South African music able to scale the heights? They are able to transcend, extend beyond boundaries, beyond cultural and religious affiliations, and they are able to become global outfits. Then we have to go back to the educational curriculum, and we have to go back to who manages the schools. Uh, the schools already, we have already said that we want to expunge. Number one, we abolishing boarding schools. That's a non-negotiable. We are getting there. We are headed there sooner rather than later. So the establishment better get it in their thick heads that we want boarding schools abolished, because all the toxicity, all the crimes that are perpetrated by the teachers, everything revolving around the toxic teaching culture operates within the boarding hours. So the teaching is okay, but then afterwards, school, preps, everything, all those are the ones which have contributed to the mess that we have today. So we are not talking about overhauling the curriculum again. So the people, Ministry of Education, if you think now we are going to go through another round of seminars and talk shops and nonsense, no, 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 no. Now we want, we have a target. We have targeted intervention, and number one is abolishing the boarding schools, because the closest school is the best school. The school, the facilities that we are spending a lot of time on, to invest in sleep. Sleep is not a productive activity. So those dormitories will be converted to extra learning facilities so that we can onboard more people and we can reduce illiteracy. Because a county like Nairobi, I told you, you need to just look at Nairobi and their voting patterns. You see the people they elect: Jalango, Jaguar, I don't know, Sakaja, Dimples, based on the most trivial of reasons and excuses. Now, it's because the schools in Nairobi are not used for educating Nairobians. Pangani is a national school, Kenya High is a national school, Nairobi, Moi Nairobi Girls National School, State House, Nairobi School, Lenana, what, all the schools are national, but they are not benefiting Nairobians. So what wakae kwao, because that's the only way we are going to incentivize counties to build schools with the trillions that they are squandering, that they are using, that they are laundering in Nairobi's real estate sector. Yeah? So listen, now let's talk about the arts industry and why arts and sports. Now the schools, because they are run by church-based organizations, have deliberately defunded other core curricular activities. So they've defunded music, they've defunded sports, but the only club that is very active in any schooling system is the CA, whatever you want to call them. And because of that, they are able to, because they are extensions of the school's administration agenda, then to suppress creativity, to suppress uh, free speech and freedom of thought. That they want hegemony amongst the student population. So they want you to think the same like sheep. And so any sign of individualism, any sign of somebody exceptionalism, it is suppressed immediately. It is quelled by the teachers who want to maintain hegemony. But don't forget, this is all a system created by Daniel Arap Moi. During the Kenyatta era, people would leave Form 6. Like now, if you read about a billionaire like Humphrey Kariuki, he left Form 6, went to work at Central Bank. The curriculum was so distinct, it was so precise that you are being trained for success. But here we are being trained to be sheep, or we have been trained to be sheep. Myself, I've been an exceptional student all my life. I've been a free thinker. But the teachers used to see that and try and suppress it all the way from primary school to high school. They see these teachers, they know what they are doing. They know, they can tell this is going to be something, but they deliberately suppress it because, again, of the religious organizations who run it, and the religious organization are an extension of the political establishment. That's why you're seeing if all the toxic political rhetoric these days is spewed at church events, because they are an extension. So the CU is left in operation, and now only the CU was given leeway to exercise their, their options as regards to entertainment, as regards to guests who come in boarding schools. And so in our ears it was, it was moderate. But now during the Kibaki era, that's when we had these idiots of Kubamba TV, who are they, akina DJ Soxy, and then they go there and then they do live from this school. Nonsense too. And then they bring now their plenary or plethora. They bring their a plethora of other mediocre artists, as which gave rise to akina ringtone, rough tone, eh? uh, I don't know, Papa Fololo, and all those guys who are saying "Parakapatapu, kapa," nonsense too, nonsense. That strain of mediocrity, that strain of anti-intellectualism planted, because and now you force kids to go to that particular mass or service. They don't want to, but they want to be entertained. They want to feel like they are whatever. So they killed all other drama, what all those other clubs, co-curricular clubs. They killed them. They left this one and then they overpropelled it. And so we've been churning out. Again, it's been a conveyor belt of mediocrity and anti-intellectualism. So when you have a conversation with somebody, you are wondering, but because they were trained from that particular phase to be to be addicted to pop culture, to the very media. And so the strain of anti-intellectualism has become so propagated. And now we have now the Gen Z, them they're saying, yo, we know what's happening out here. We know that we are being oppressed and we want to do away with this era. Let's call it an era. So, which is why we are saying now, we are abolishing boarding schools because of those particular very, very valid reasons. We want to abolish, because those facilities that people are sleeping, the money that parents spend to buy mattresses, boxes, I don't know what, all those facilities, they could be better used as educational facilities. So the closest home is the best school. The closest school is the best school. People to study in their regions. Like in America, you don't see somebody leaving Washington to go all the way to Seattle or to Florida for high school. They may go for university, and that's that's the minimum. That we're talking about the 1% who attend the Ivy League schools and whatever. But most of the people study within their locality. It's the same. So we cannot program an entire generation to know that once you finish school, all of you are headed to Nairobi like sheep. When will these other regions grow? What was the purpose of devolution? Why were we, what was the clamor? Were we building that because those areas were always masquerading as marginalized regions? They were always saying that, oh, we are not Kenya, oh, we need the devolution. But it turns out that the entire devolution process was to benefit a few elites in those ASAL regions, those marginalized regions, who are then now laundering their proceeds of crime in Nairobi's real estate. And then they get these companies, these real estate companies, to concoct fictitious forecasts about how real estate is growing, and then they pass it through the media, and then all of a sudden, oh, real estate is, all other industries have collapsed in Kenya. The agriculture, the livelihood, everything, manufacturing, SMEs, everything has collapsed. All there are no jobs. All Kenyans are headed to diaspora to seek for greener pastures, but somehow real estate is still booming. Because of what? Because it's being used as the laundromat for proceeds of crime from these ASAL regions. So we will never incentivize these guys to build their own dams, to build their own schools and hospitals, if they're programming their residents that, oh, when you finish, you're going to go for high school in Nairobi, you're going to go for university in Nairobi. No, 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 no. We must incentivize them. Look at a county like Narok. Narok can give 500 acres to Uhuru. Narok can give a lot of land to all these lodges. I saw another one which is costing like 300,000 a night. They can give that land, but they can't give land for people to come and invest in their hospitals, in their in their schools. They have land to give away to everyone else other than investors in the education sector. This is the rubbish that we're talking about devolution. Yeah. So governors, we prepare yourselves, because from next year the things will be different. So start building the schools. I've told you guys, ASAL regions, stop building flats in Isili and Kileleshwa. Build schools in your area so that you won't be caught off guard. This is a conversation that has started, it has gained momentum, and we want to reform the educational sector with those interventions. We don't want an overhaul of the curriculum like Matiangi again. No, no, no.